All right, welcome to the Kingdom of Pod. Not an emergency edition, but certainly a bowl edition on the Believe Podcast Network, brought to you by Bet Online. Jeff Caves here in Flower Mound, Texas, where all the bowl games are being announced. At least it's been made official that we've got a bowl game in Arizona to talk about. We'll talk about that. Plus, Cincinnati makes history for the group of five. This will be a faster edition of the Kingdom of Pod, and I know with the NFL Sunday taking place right now, it's back and better than ever. There at Bet Online, they have a new web interface for the rest of the NBA season. They have a lot of prop bets and odds and lines that you've ever seen. So Bet Online's that number one spot for basketball and football action this season. Get over there. New updated desktop or mobile website. If you sign up today, you get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code we have, BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50 would get your bonus. Basketball, football, NHL, and a lot more. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available right now at Bet Online. Let's get to it. The news that Boise State's headed to the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. This is something that I think was brewing, and let's just get it out there that there has been controversy surrounding Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports and his relationship as the founder and CEO of this highly successful internet site and basically a community of sports talk shows and video. There's a lot there. They've done unbelievably well. And when Portnoy got himself stuck in some stories, 30 to 45 days ago, that were being reported on him about his personal choices and what he'd done or not done with women. And you can believe it or not believe it. That's still to be proven. And I don't want to get into that. But at that time, there had been controversy concerning Barstool Sports way before that. So if you are not familiar with it, just search it. Just go out to Barstool Sports or look at some of my Twitter account. You'll see what some people have brought up about them, and I'll get into it in a second. But the Portnoy controversy about 30 or 45 days ago got to the point where the San Diego State athletic director felt like he needed to make a statement, and I think he was sending a message. And the statement that he made was, people on my staff at San Diego State have come to me and said, we don't want anything to do with the Arizona Bowl if we at San Diego State get put there. Even though it's less than a 6-hour drive, the bowl game has averaged, it's in Tucson, 32 to 39,000 people. It's unbelievably successful as it relates to these, lower level, lower payout bowl games. They've done quite well in the gate. So I think they should be commended at the Arizona Bowl for getting that done. But the San Diego State athletic director stopped short of saying, and you can search this story as well, stopped short of saying, if we are named to the Arizona Bowl, we won't go. He didn't want to go there. He almost didn't have to. Of course, they're coming to Frisco, close, about 30 miles from where I am, where I think Boise State wanted to be. But how are you going to argue with somebody with that better of a record that they get the opportunity to come to Frisco? And in the case of San Diego State, in my opinion, avoid any controversies with Barstool Sports. What about those controversies? I think it's up to everybody to make their own decisions. There are millions of fans of Barstool Sports that see nothing wrong with anything they do. There are maybe tens and 20s of millions of people that don't even know who they are. And then I don't know if there's a million or more that can't stand them. I don't know what that number is. I don't pay attention to it. I don't listen to or watch their shows regularly. I've found things that I enjoy, and I'm very engaged in many other things. And that's not necessarily somewhere I'm going to go. I would go to Feinbaum and see college football conversations before I'm going to wade through some Barstool podcasts, even though they do a great job. I took some time to listen to one this morning. I'll tell you about that in a second. But it's going to be down to the experience that you've had with them. If you've never experienced Barstool Sports at all, and you see all the controversy, and you have a particular cause that you want to fight that involves some of the things that they have said against certain groups of people in this country, then you're going to have at it. That's where I start with the problem. When you let a title sponsor like Barstool Sports take the Arizona Bowl over, you're just opening up the conversation to opposition groups, women's groups, uh, African American groups. There's a lot of them. Just again, do your own research. And there's positive people that enjoy Barstool Sports. You're going to find that the story quickly doesn't become Boise State and Central Michigan. It becomes, why is Barstool Sports in this situation? Why would you support them when they do this, that, and the other? And that's not uncommon. Typically, bowls have stayed away from controversy. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, the Barstool Sports Bowl, there could be a new day coming in the sport as they reckon with that. And if there's enough people to support it that will stream the game through barstoolsports.com or that app, which is the only way you can get it, or comment on it or buy tickets and go to it, they're going to go that direction because maybe there's a market for everybody. So for Boise State, I just hope that, all matchups aside, the story will only be about something other than Rob Akey at Central Michigan, Jim McElvain at Central Michigan, or Boise State in a bowl game in Arizona against Central Michigan with the number one running back, yards gained at least in the country. That stuff won't be the story in only if a group or influential people come out and have something very negative to say about Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports or Barstool Sports in general. Okay? So if those things don't surface, then the game just goes on. Is there a guarantee of that? No. Now, what's the other potential challenge of Barstool Sports in this bowl game? Maybe they take the attention away from the game and put it on themselves. Maybe they look at this because they're the title sponsor to do unconventional things, self-attention, use it to promote their cause, which a lot of bowl games do. I mean, you go to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in 2007 like we did, you're going to eat Tostitos potato chips or you ain't going, right? That's just what you're going to get there. So they take advantage of that. I don't know what Barstool Sports does. I don't know who's going to be the play-by-play guy. I don't know how front and center Portnoy is. The only fear you may have if you're a bowl organizer or Boise State or Central Michigan for that matter, if they make Portnoy front and center, that gives the people who want to distract from the game and the teams something to chew on, something to get involved with. Because, unless you go to Barstool Sports app and watch it, you can avoid Dave Portnoy pretty easy. He comes up in some mainstream interviews. That's not the point, but he's going to primarily populate himself through his own business, which is wildly successful with a percentage of people. So I don't think Boise State necessarily wanted to go there because I think they would have viewed an opportunity to come to Dallas-Fort Worth and play in one of the three bowl games here as a better recruiting territory for them than Tucson, Arizona. The games are on ESPN here, so you not only get any streaming of the bowl games that are in Dallas-Fort Worth, but you get them on broadcast television as well or cable television. That's not the case with Barstool Sports. They're going to stream this game exclusively through their app, through their websites, and if you can stream, you can see it. If you have a smart TV, you know how to do it. I don't even have to tell you, but in case you don't remember, if you have a smart TV, just download the app. It's on the Apple app stores or whatever, and you can get it. It won't be a problem. I don't think that is as big a deal anymore. If any of us have, just look at your own habits and what you watch streaming-wise. And so I think we're past that for a certain demographic, but there's definitely an older demographic that's not going to do that at all. I can think of my own father-in-law. He ain't going to do it. It's not going to happen. He's not going to watch it, and he watches every Boise State football game he can, and I think this will be one that either he comes over here or he just doesn't watch it at all. So what does this tell me also about some of the decision-making process of who goes where, what, and when? And I was asked about this, and I stated, I don't know that the Mountain West Conference sees that they owe Boise State anything. They were a 7-5 team. There were 5 other teams with better records. So you're 6th. You'll be the 6th choice. Could ESPN have fought for them? They sure could have. Could ESPN have said, hey, we'd rather have Boise State in the Tropical Smoothie Frisco Bowl against Texas San Antonio than San Diego State? Even though San Diego State has a much better record, Boise State has a lot of street cred in the TV ratings business, in creating eyeballs. But so it's a little surprising to me that in certain situations, they did not get the benefit of the doubt because people tune in to watch their games. And there's could be some reasons for that. Last year, Boise State didn't go to a bowl game. That didn't help ESPN out at all. It made it harder for them. And on top of that, if you want to look at who owes what, where, the Boise State relationship with Craig Thompson at the Mountain West Conference has been frayed at the edges. Boise State threatened to sue the Mountain West Conference, wanted to put Craig Thompson under oath to testify that, yes, he told Boise State they could have their bump in TV money through the Mountain West Conference above and beyond what anybody else gets till further notice. And that he told them that verbally, and they were going to force him to court to say that. And I don't think, they quickly came off of that after all that process went down and went a different direction. So I don't know. I don't think Craig has a personal issue per se with Jeremiah Dickey. He just met him. I'd be surprised if he has one with Marlene Trump, other than the fact that Dr. Trump and Kurt Apke at that time were the ones that pressed and brought that lawsuit. So if he thinks also that Boise State has 1 foot out the door, he's not going to fight that hard to make too many exceptions. And that's my opinion. That's nothing I know that has happened. That's just purely my opinion looking at human nature. So I think it would have been a better recruiting situation here in the Dallas area at the Frisco Bowl against UTSA. But, I mean, can you blame them? They got a 12-2 San Diego State. That's a pretty good matchup. So there's not much room when you don't control your own destiny, no matter that's a great recruiting territory, no matter you want into the Big 12, you want to influence things in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, no matter that you got the Dallas Cowboys literally 5 minutes away from you from Frisco at the Star, where the Cowboys train and all the Kellen Moore tie-ins and all that. It just didn't happen. It's too bad. That's the way it is. But the bottom line is you're going to have to get used to it, and I do hope that the San Diego State negative publicity about the Barstool Sports or the controversies over the Pima County people in Arizona who either did cancel their $40,000 sponsorship of the bowl when Barstool was named as the title sponsor, or wanted to or voted to, and had all the commissioners testifying about that. And search Wicker, the AD at San Diego State, and see what he had to say about all of it. And then as we get closer to the game, of course, we're going to break it down a little bit further. I want to talk a little bit more about Cincinnati and the historic day that they had. But hey, welcome to a new sponsor. If you're looking for a gift right now, say goodbye to the dull ones. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds are out. It's the brightest gift of the year. They have cutting-edge technology, innovative techniques. They've cracked the science of sparkle. They've got the highest quality lab-grown diamonds that you can find at a pretty light price, only $800 per carat. The same chemical makeup of natural diamonds, they're just grown in a lab. And because of that process, they can create stones in blush pink, beautiful blue, as well as classic white. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds, the gift they'll never want to take off, priced so they won't have to. They really do make an outfit sparkle. Visit lightboxjewelry.com to add sparkle to your holiday shopping. That's lightboxjewelry.com. Lightbox diamonds, never a dull moment. Pretty interesting. All right, lastly, the Cincinnati berth into the college football playoff. I couldn't help but notice that they were put number 4, and so that you would avoid this Georgia at number 4 against Alabama again. But nonetheless, let's just not take attention away from the fact that there's a group of 5 team in the college football playoff, something that many people said would never, ever happen, with a slightest chance of it ever occurring. Those people are never called on the carpet about that stuff, and I'm not going to do that either. Okay, this isn't about that. But this just dawned on me. There was a part of me that didn't want Cincinnati to get into the college football playoff. Selfishly, as a fan of Boise State, an alum, and all this other stuff, I wish it would have been Boise State as the first one. Okay? But, I started thinking about it and more about it and changing my attitude and opinion. Imagine that. And I thought, Boise State is a part of this. And frankly, all the way back to 1AA team, all right? 1AA schools, back when I played, a lot of friends that I have. And we would beat teams in the Division I or FBS division of football. And up until now, where you've got now group of 5 teams. and still FCS teams like Montana beating Power 5 football teams. Okay? Opened the door to allow this to happen. Bought the credibility game by game for people all over the country, including those people on that committee, to say, oh no, Boise State beat Oklahoma. Boise State beat Georgia. Boise State beat Virginia Tech. Appalachian State beat Michigan. Montana beat Washington. It can happen. They can be as good. They are as good. And it opens the door. And Cincinnati has closed it. So I think it's a victory for all of those schools that have beaten and played Power 5 teams. And you can take, I think, some pride in that fact that I do believe Boise State had direct influence in making that occur, as did many other schools that made that happen. But we'll see what happens when we get to 12. But in the meantime, you get to enjoy Alabama and Cincinnati. And if I was reading, I think, a social media piece that BJ Raines had, that while Boise State and Central Michigan are streaming on barstoolsports.com, you're going to have the Alabama-Cincinnati game on television. That could be a problem, but that's the reality of it. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kingdom of Pod. It's a weekly, or as news merits, look at Boise State football. Like it, subscribe to it, review it, pass it on to a friend. I'll even send them to you by email. Just search out the Kingdom of Pod. Thanks for enjoying this, and I'll talk to you as soon as we can. Definitely sometime next week.